Hey, what's up? Hello. If you're new here, my name is Kayla and you are watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes. Today's video is going to be a book haul. Now, I have not done a book haul here on my channel at all this year, so this is probably going to be my first and last book haul. Honestly, it's more of a collective haul. I have been purchasing books recently, but these are going to be books that I've been purchasing all year long, and I figured why not bring them together in one video. I'm actually running out of space on my shelves, so I need to kind of like reconfigure them. Something about me is I like to have trinkets on my shelves. I don't just want to have them like filled with books because I feel like the trinkets add personality. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to add all of these new books that I have been purchasing recently without sacrificing the cute little trinkets that I have? And that's where Fly City comes in. Just in time, they have sent me over their new 5-tier rotating bookshelf, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys. I can't wait to put all of these books on the shelf. And if you too are in the market for a bookshelf, because listen, one thing a bookish collector, a bookish person is going to need always is more shelves. I'm going to leave that link for you down below, and you can also use my discount code KBV to get money off. So after we go through all of these books and I show you guys what I have been collecting over the past 9 months, we're also going to figure out how we can work it into this new rotating bookshelf. Again, thank you to Fly City for sending this bookshelf over to me. Okay, so I would say about 50-50. 50% of this haul is going to be fantasy. I have been buying a lot of fantasy lately, but I do have some books that are not fantasy. So let's get into the ones that aren't fantasy first. So I guess we'll start with romances. One of the books that I purchased was Second Tides, The Charm by Chandra Bloomberg. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be as real as possible. The cover is why I purchased this book. So this is a second chance romance, I believe. I also purchased this book because of their career choices. So it says, at first glance, Hope Evans just landed the perfect job spending the summer on a shark research boat. Except as every marine biologist knows, it's what's going on beneath the surface that counts, and Hope's new position comes with a big catch. The boat belongs to her ex-boyfriend. Since their split, Adrian has risen to internet fame as a shark expert with the launch of his YouTube channel. I love it. To dispel myths and educate viewers about sharks, but success rings hollow without hope. Embracing this new career trajectory was a risk, but working in cramped quarters with the woman he never stopped loving, that has the potential to backfire in heartbreaking ways. The female character is a marine biologist, and the male main character is a YouTuber who talks specifically about sharks. You're never going to read another romance, and the characters obviously are black. You're never going to read another romance with that premise where our main characters are doing those things. It just seemed very unique to me. And you guys know I love me a good sweet romance, and this seems right up my alley. So got that. I think I got that earlier in the year, but I wanted to add it to this video. Next we got Pugs and Kisses by Farrah Rashan. This is a part of her, I think this is a part of a series, because I also got Pardon My Frenchie. I want to say I got this book last year, but there was a continuation of it. And when I saw this book, I said, wait, is she doing a series based on like romances and dogs? I love dogs. I am a dog person, okay? I absolutely love dogs. So let me look it up really quick to see if this is actually like a dog series. Something to note about me is that, especially when it comes to romances, I will literally buy the books just because the covers are cute, and I'll read it eventually. I'll get to it eventually. Dog on Delightful is the name of this series. First of all, what a cute series name. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series. It doesn't say. Right now there's only 2. I have them both. If another one comes out before I can get to these, I'm still probably going to buy that one. Just because 1, it's Farrah Rashan, but 2, the covers are so cute and they're about dogs. You can't get any cuter than that. They're absolutely adorable. And if she drops another one in this series, in this Doggone Delightful series, I'll be getting that one too. Judge your mama. So I also got If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry. I have never read anything by this author, and there's a specific reason why. I feel like the covers of her books give us nothing. Also, when people talk about her books, usually they give us nothing. They give me nothing. Not even a slight hint. I feel like even if someone gives a review, they don't tell me what I feel like I need to know to pick up the book. So I've never picked it up. So I just decided to pick up one because people love her books. People love her writing style. But I feel like when they give a review of her books, they leave out vital information that one would want to know about a romance before they pick it up. So I figured, why not get one of her books and you can do a review. The review that you want to see on her books, you could do the review. So I don't know what this is about. I just know that it's by Brittany Cherry, and this is one that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. So I wanted to do a review of my own. Eventually I will do my first Author Taste Test of Brittany Sherry, and this is the book I'll start with. Next is me trying to give an author another chance. This book is by Taj McCoy, and it's called The Dating Prohibition. First of all, the cover got me. Taj McCoy, her books have some cute covers. I think I have another book by her. Zora Books, Her Happy Ever After. I haven't read this one yet. I have read a book, or tried to read a book by her, and I forget the name of it. I'll place it here on the screen. The thing I didn't like about this book was our female main character's self-deprecating nature. I didn't like it, and I couldn't get past it. I think I got to about 50% of that book before I DNF'd it. And I loved her writing style. Like, I love Taj McCoy's writing style. So I knew that it wasn't necessarily the author that I wasn't enjoying. I just wasn't enjoying that specific female main character. And I'm like, I feel like if I read another book by this author, I would probably enjoy it better. So when I saw this book, I was like, yeah, let's give her another try. Let's try something completely different from what that book was, and see if we can get with it, you know? Like, I want to read this book. I mean, I also really need to read this book as well, but I just want to read this one because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it yet. So I was like, there's no preconceived notions. I can just open it up, read it, and there we go. We'll figure out if Taj McCoy is an author for me. I do love her covers though. Whoever she gets to do her covers, they do an amazing job. They're so cute. The last romance on our list is The Rewrites by Lizzie Damilola Blackburn, author of Yinka, Where's Your Husband? I haven't read Yinka, Where's Your Husband? But I do know a few of my mutuals love that book, and I think I actually have it. But I'm excited to read this one. I saw this one in my local indie bookstore. I didn't get it that day, and I just kept thinking about it, so I went back and got it. I went back and got it. It's so cute. It's so cute. I haven't read romance in quite a while. I've been like really in my fantasy bag, which is why there's going to be so much fantasy on this list. I've also, you guys know, I love me historical fiction. I'm never not in my historical fiction bag. So I've been reading that like in between my fantasies, and I haven't been like in the mood for a sweet romance, but I know because I haven't read it in such a while that when I get back in the mood, I'm going to want a lot of it. So hence the reason I have been buying all of these like cutesy little romances, because I just know when I'm in the mood, I'm in the mood. And these type of books, you tend to like be able to like, you know, blow through really quickly. So I'm excited whenever I get back in the mood for a cutesy sweet romance, because you guys know that's my vibe when it comes to romance. I just like them cute and sweet and contemporary most of the time. So whenever I do get back in that mood, I will have some options to choose from. Next, let's get into some things that aren't romance. Francine's Spectacular Crash and Burn by Renee Swindle. I think this is literary fiction. I saw my girl Bryn from Bryn D's channel. I will leave that link down below for you. But she did a review on this book, and just the way she talked about it, I really wanted to get it. I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? This seems like one that I would enjoy. So why not? I don't typically read a lot of literary fiction, and I think it would be nice to sprinkle this in. Also, like after reading a heavy fantasy or a thriller or something, to sprinkle this in where you just kind of follow someone who's trying to figure life out. It's not necessarily a romance. We're not focused on a man or a woman. We're not focused on anyone like falling in love. We're just kind of like following someone trying to figure life out. And so I think when I'm in the mood for that, I will pick this one up. Next, we have a thriller, Zetas Till We Die by Amber and Danielle Brown. This is an author duo, and I believe I know they're sisters. I believe they're twins. They look like twins to me, but siblings can look like twins and not be twins. So the people would always say me and my brothers look like twins, and we're not. So they could just be sisters. Either way, they wrote this book together. This is not my first book by them. I believe I have all of their thrillers. I really enjoyed Someone Had to Do It though. That was their first release, and I really enjoyed that thriller. Absolutely loved it, and I recommend it all the time. But the second thriller that they wrote, I haven't read it. And when I saw this one, I was like, oh, Sisters Till the End. Like, it just seems like it's going to be very eerie. It's going to have to do with sorority, which I'm not in a sorority. I've never experienced like the sorority life or anything, but it just feels like it's going to be really eerie and really good. I know after reading like the first 2 to 3 sentences of the synopsis, it's what sold me on it. And I was like, yeah, just give it to me. It's been 10 years since Priscilla and her Zeta Phi Zeta sorority sisters graduated college. 10 years since they were all in the same room together. 10 years since one of them died. And I know at that point it was like add to cart. And now Lupe's killer has been released from prison on a technicality days before their 10-year reunion. I'm going to stop there. This sounds like the perfect fall thriller to read. And I'm going to read it this fall. Next, we also have a horror novel. I believe this is horror. I'm pretty sure this is horror. So this is Who's All Going to Die by Lisa Springer. This is a new release. I believe this is YA. Lisa Springer was the very first author who sent me her book to read and review. And I remember receiving that book in the mail and just being like, oh my God, an author sent me her book to read and review. How cool is that? She sent that to me, I want to say it was last year. And I loved it. It was such a good time. And for someone who feels like I don't like horror, that was one of the books that was like, maybe you do. Maybe you just you're not reading the right types of horror. Maybe you're not like, you don't realize that there's a whole nother subgenre of horror that you could enjoy. After reading Lisa Springer's book though, I was like, okay, maybe I do like horror. The book that she sent me last year was There's No Way I'd Die First. And this was also like a really good book to read like during the spooky season, especially around Halloween, because they're literally at a Halloween party in this book. This is YA also. And it is horror. So if you are a scaredy cat, this is not for you. I thought I was a scaredy cat, but then I read this and I was like, but it's so funny. there's stuff happening and people are being like, you know, but so after reading this book, I was like, I think I like Lisa Springer's type of horror because her humor in it was just perfectly placed. I was never truly scared, or like the moments where I felt like I was like, okay, I think I'm getting scared. Something funny would be said or something funny or unhinged would happen. And I was like, okay, maybe I just like Lisa Springer. So Who All's Going to Die? I was like, yeah, let me get that. Ariana is getting ready to get away from the chill of a New York winter, from the anxiety around her volleyball injury and what that means for her future. Thanks to her new friend Oakley, she can do just that. Oakley has offered Ariana an all-expense-paid trip to her parents' wellness retreat on an island off Barbados. The dream resort is the perfect escape. At least it was before lifestyle guru Juniper Moon began introducing suspect activities like psychedelic mushroom tea ceremonies and bee venom facials. And as disturbing accidents start happening around the island and tension between the guests and staff builds, Ariana realizes she and her friends might not be in paradise after all. Now it's no longer a question of when, but if they can make it home alive. So it sounds like it's about, again, another fun, unhinged horror novel, and I'm excited. I typically don't enjoy books that have influencers in it. I don't know what it is about that, but it kind of like irritates my soul. I feel like when you get on social media, it's literally flooded with influencers. So when I put my phone down and I pick up a book, the last thing I want to read about is influencers, right? If I wanted to see that, I'd just pick up my phone. But because this is YA and these are teenagers, I feel like I'm able to like, first of all, they're already going to be doing things that are just stupid. So I'm not going to be like, girl, no, why would you do that? Because teenagers typically make decisions that make you say, especially in books and especially in works of fiction, they typically make decisions already that make you say, now, why would you do that? So I know I'm going to be saying that a lot in this book, but I feel like it's going to be a good, fun time. And I can't wait to get into this book. All right, those are the thrillers, the horrors, the literary fiction of it all. Now I think I have two historical fiction, which I'll only mention briefly because one of them I literally just read in a reading vlog, and the other one you guys were actually with me when I purchased these books, so I'll just mention them together. So we have These Heathens by Mia McKenzie and Dominion by Addie E. Kitchens. These are both historical fictions. I picked these books up in my last weekly vlog where we went to the bookshop. I got these from my indie bookstore. I've already read this book. 5 stars. If you are into historical fiction, I think you should read this book. This was a 5-star book for me. So if we have similar reading tastes, if I have recommended books for you in the past and you really, really enjoyed them, this is one that I think you would also really enjoy. Okay, loved it down. And then Dominion, I haven't read yet, but we did pick that one up fairly recently. Now we're going to get into some fantasy, baby, because I've been buying fantasy like nobody's business. I have been buying so much fantasy. We're literally continuations of a series. So the first one is Exiled by Iron, which is book 2 of the Tainted Blood duology. First of all, the cover of this book is absolutely stunning, and this is obviously a second book in a duology, and I wanted to go ahead and get it so that when I get in the mood, I feel like the font in this is really small, but when I get in the mood, I can go ahead and complete the series. I did enjoy book 1. What's so funny is I enjoyed book 1. I think it was like one of my first black fantasies, and I'm pretty sure I did a reading vlog on it. I will leave that link down below. But right after reading that, I started the Children of Blood and Bone series, And it was very hard for me not to compare those two because the premise of them were like, you know, there were a lot of overlap in the premise. So I was like, let's just go ahead and read book 2, because I feel like where we left off in book 1, book 2 is going to like separate the two very different series in my mind, because I finished the Children of Blood and Bone series and I wasn't a fan of how that one ended. So I'm like, let's go ahead and read this one so that in my mind, the two series can separate, because right now they kind of get muddled together when I think about the premise of each book. And I just know, even just from the cover, I just know this is going to go in a completely different direction than Children of Blood and Bone. So got this one. I love the cover of it, and eventually I will finish that series. I love the fact that it's a duology, so once I finish that book, I'm done with that series. I also picked up The Lady of Rapture by Sarah Roffley. I'm pretty sure I unboxed this in a weekly vlog some time ago on my channel, but I thought I would mention it here again because the cover is stunning. Look at the colors in this book. They're just so pretty. This is the 3rd book in a trilogy. I've read and completed book 1. Have not read book 2, although I do have it. That one I've had for quite some time. But this is the one that I just purchased this year to finish that series. So excited about that. Okay, y'all. This next one, Birth of a Dynasty by Chinaza Bado. Y'all know I read this book earlier this year. I unfortunately read it in a day and didn't have enough time to actually do a reading vlog on it because it was so good. 5-star read. Again, 5-star read. If I have recommended books in the past and you have enjoyed them, specifically fantasy, because I know not everyone who watches my channel is into fantasy. If you have enjoyed some of the same fantasies that I have, I think you will gobble this book up. Okay, I loved this book so much that I needed the special edition, and I remember mentioning to you all that the special edition was sold out. Well, it came back in stock and I got it. And I have to thank my subscribers. Like, somebody here on my channel was like, Kayla, don't walk, run, babe. It's back in stock and you can go get it. As soon as I read that comment on my phone, I hopped on my computer and placed my order. So glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. It's absolutely stunning. Look at the sprayed edges. Just so pretty. It's just so pretty. I love it. I haven't even taken the plastic off, which is why you can see the glare. The map inside is in color. Yeah. And then the actual book itself is orange with silver foiling. Get into that. We even have a scorpion on the back. I love it. I love it. I love it. I probably won't take off the plastic. I'm going to display it on my shelf nice and shiny with this little plastic wrap on it. Someone also even DM'd me on Instagram and was like, hey girl, I have 2 copies of the special edition. And I know you mentioned in your video that you wanted a copy of the special edition. I will send it to you. Real tear fell. Because what do you mean you'll just send me the book? It was so sweet. You guys are so sweet. First of all, for the person who let me know this was back in stock, without you, I would have missed it. I'm positive. Because I'm in these bookish streets, but I'm not in these bookish streets, right? Like, when I turn this camera off, it's a wrap, babe. I'm either like reading my books or doing the mom thing, the wife thing. Like, I can't just like be aware of everything all the time. So there was no way I would have missed this. I would have absolutely missed that they've restocked this. So thank you for letting me know. But also thank you to it was a whole nother subscriber who messaged me on Instagram and offered to send me that book. But I was like, girl, I already bought it and it's on the way and it's here now. And I love looking at it. I love that book. I'm tempted to reread it, but there's so many books on my shelves that I need to read. I probably will do a reread whenever they announce the second book for that series coming out. Now, the next few books are, I was influenced to get these books. I've been in my fantasy bags. I've been like looking, and like I said, I'm in these bookish streets, but I'm not in these bookish streets, not chronically, you know, like I don't know all the things. So I was looking on TikTok for recommendations on fantasies, and these are some of the books that have come up. Also, some of you have recommended these fantasies to me either on Instagram or here on YouTube. And so when y'all be recommending me the books in the comments, I be making a list. Like, I literally screenshot. There is a folder in my phone, book recommendations from my peeps. Not lying. And I go through that and be like, okay, let me see what I need to pick up. What am I missing out on? So the first one, A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Allende. I'm pretty sure that this is a debut novel, and one of you all said after hearing me gush about the birth of a dynasty, you were like, Kayla, I think you would really like this. I'm pretty sure whoever mentioned this to me did it on Instagram. I'm going to do a better job at screenshotting that so that I can, like, you know, give you your props for recommending me these books. And they asked me, like, have you read this book? And I was like, I think you even said in the comment that it was an epic fantasy. And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of scared to read epic fantasies because it's like, I'm intimidated by the world. Like, the world is so big, usually, if it's done right? It's so big and lush and expansive, and you have to, like, learn this new place. And I'm like, I don't know if I can hang. But then I recently read The Final Strife by Sarai El-Arafi, and I realized I actually love that. I actually love when the world is like big and expansive, and you as the writer can do an amazing job at explaining to me and bringing to life this place that you created in your mind, making it live in my mind. So I'm like, okay, don't be intimidated, babe. Just try it. Okay. It's okay. It's just words on a page. And if you don't like it, you don't got to finish the book. But I got this book based off of someone's recommendation, and I really hope that I like it. It's a beautiful book. It's paperback. I will say I'm not a fan of sprayed edges on a paperback, but it is what it is. The cover is beautiful. And so I'm excited. Let me tell you what this book is about, though. Okay. The 9 lands, that already scared me. Because it's like 9? Is 9 of y'all? However, comma. Birth of a dynasty. There was a lot of different, I guess, not fractions, but like tribes, I guess. There were a lot of different tribes, and I tracked with that. But I think that was a testament to Chinazo Bado's writing. Like, this is a very, I don't want to say easy fantasy, but accessible. Like, you could read this fantasy, even if you're not into fantasy, you would probably still like this fantasy because first of all, it starts off, not me pitching this book, I'm talking about a whole different book now, child. Rebirth of a Dynasty. It starts off like you're in the thick of it. It starts off on 10 already, and it's just very easy to follow and to read, and you will easily fall in love with the characters. Like, I don't want to keep saying easy because sometimes when you say easy, it makes it seem like whittled down almost, you know, like elementary. And I don't mean in that way. I just mean it was easy. It was easy to read, easy to follow, easy to enjoy, easy to get lost in, right? So when the first sentence of this says, the 9 lands has been at war against the Grey Bloods for thousands of years, I just know there's going to be so much to unpack in this book. This is going to be a book where when I read it, it's the only book that I'm reading. The Invoker clans, warriors of noble blood who summon their ancestors to fight with them in battle, are all that stand between the people and destruction. But the war has gone on too long. Soon, a general draft is called by the 9 lands, reckless keen to take the battle to their enemies and defeat them once and for all. A plan that seems doomed to fail. When Timmy, a commoner from the slums, accidentally invokes a powerful spirit, she believes it could hold the key to ending the war. But not everything that can be invoked is an ancestor. Some of the spirits are more dangerous than anyone can imagine. So there's that. I feel like I could enjoy it because there's probably going to be a lot of political intrigue. And again, not to keep coming back to this book, but when I read Birth of a Dynasty, the political intrigue is also what really like drew me in. And I think that's why whoever recommended this book to me recommended it to me, because all of the things that I was saying that I loved about Birth of a Dynasty on my reel over on Instagram, they were like, I think you like this one too. So I picked it up. I'm trusting you. We'll see. Next, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. Someone did character art on this book on Bookstagram, and that was all she wrote. I'll put a picture of what I saw. That's all she wrote. I saw it. I said, yeah, I'll read that. So this book is also an epic fantasy. Again, when I read this book, it'll probably be the only book that I read. It says, let us fly now to the empire of Arun, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Bursin, the brusque. Y'all remember when I said sometimes I just keep reading. If I don't understand, I just keep reading. That's what I mean. Just keep reading. The reign of Bursun the Brusque has come to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, and strategists compete to replace him. So it sounds like there's going to be a trial to replace whoever was on top. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima Kra, the emperor's brilliant high scholar, to find the killer and fight for the throne. So it also sounds like it's going to be a mystery. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. Who is us? If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are magnificent. It's a mystery. It's deadly trials. Again, the character art. If you know, you know why this character art was like, yeah, Kayla gonna read that. So, okay, next, telling you guys why I purchased these books is half the fun. Okay, so I also got another series. This one, the first book is called Son of the Storm. I have been walking past this book in Barnes for probably well over a year. And every time I stop and look at it and say, I think I'm gonna get that. And I finally got it. Warrior of the Wind is the second book in this series. And I finally picked these books up because I follow the author on Instagram and they posted the cover for book 3, which I will leave right here. And I was aghast. I literally stopped. It stopped my scrolling. I literally stopped mid-scroll and said, yeah, I'll get that. But before I can get that, obviously, I have to read these. And I was like, I've already had my eye on these for so long. So perfect time to get them. By the time I finish both of these books, book 3 will have been released and I can get that book. So pretty much the cover for book 3 enticed me to go ahead and buy these 2 books. Love them. Love the covers. Like, come on. I'm pretty sure this character is albino. I'm almost positive of it. And what fantasy series have you read with an albino main character? I'll wait. Quickly. That's what I thought. And then the first one, he's just beautiful. Come on. These covers are beautiful. Stop playing with me. So yeah, I got both of those. Next, I got this book because I was watching, what is her YouTube channel? She's actually someone that I watch often to get fantasy recommendations, and once upon a time to get sci-fi recommendations. Only I realized I don't actually enjoy sci-fi as much as I thought I did. Hold on, let me find her channel. I refuse to move on until I find her channel. Tori. I will leave her channel link down below for you as well. Tori Morrow. I literally was watching her videos, like literally like back to back. I was just working one day and her videos just kept playing, automatically playing. So I was just like, let it roll, because I love her book recommendations. I love how she talks about books. I love how she breaks down books. It's a very different style from what I typically read, from what I typically watch. And so for me, it's like a breath of fresh air. She's strictly about the books. Like, she's going to sit down and talk to you about the books and nothing else. And I absolutely love that about her channel. Because I know what I'm going to get. And so her book, she posted this video. And so after watching that video, I said, okay, I guess I need to read that trilogy. And I get it. I got the first book in the trilogy. So there's actually more than one book in this. I think there's 4 altogether. I think there's like 3 books and then an additional one. That's like a novella possibly. So I got this one to start that series. If I enjoy this book, then I will continue on with the series. But the way that she talked about this book and the very fact that she literally dedicated an entire video to only this series to discuss it, I was like, okay, we're going to give it a try. We're going to give it a try. We're almost done. Hang with me. Another book that I'm pretty sure Tori influenced me to get as well, just from that day where I was just like binging all her videos. The Unbroken by C.O. Clarke. This is a part of the Magic Lost series. I believe it's a trilogy. This is the first one. I only got the first one in the series, just like I only got the first one in the City of Brass. I'm going to give both of these a try. And if I enjoy them, then I will continue on with the series. Yeah, the way she talked about this as well was just like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. Also, I looked up the covers of the other books and I was like, yeah, okay, let's diversify what we're reading. Let's try anyway, because one thing I'm going to do is come back home. This is an attempt to get out of my comfort zone, to see if this is something that I like. Something that I will say, if you read a lot of the same genre all the time, you could be keeping yourself from stuff that you really enjoy, but because you won't read outside of that genre, you don't know, right? So like, for instance, sci-fi. I read a really good sci-fi once and I was like, wow, This is a whole genre that I've never read, never tapped into, and this is something that I could be enjoying. So if fantasy is something that you've never, I'm not saying you should start with this one, but I'm just saying in general, like if you are someone who only reads romances, try, every once in a while to read a book in another genre, because you could be missing out on a whole world of books that you wouldn't otherwise, tap into. So I know that I do enjoy fantasy. I just don't know if I enjoy this type of fantasy or even this type of fantasy. So far, a lot of the fantasies that I have been enjoying have actually been romantasy, and I've realized that that is like not even, I don't want to say not fantasy, because it is. Like it has fantasy elements. But to read a romantasy and then read like an epic fantasy, those are two very different things I've learned this year. Because honestly, before this year, I never read either one of those genres. Like I never dabbed in either one of those. And I think I enjoy them both. I do know that I enjoy romantasy, and I'm starting to learn that I also enjoy fantasy, even if it doesn't have like a romantic subplot. But I never would have known that had I not picked up fantasy. Hello. All right, last but not least is a set. So I'm just going to mention all of these together. So one of the books that I wanted to read was Air by this author, by Sabaa Tahir. I wanted to read that book. I wanted to read that book because I was watching an interview of Elizabeth Acevedo, and this is how YouTube works. It sends you down a rabbit hole. I was getting to know Elizabeth Acevedo because she has quickly become an auto-buy author for me, and she's kind of dope. Like as a person, she's been dope from all the interviews I've seen. And so then randomly a video of Elizabeth Acevedo interviewing Sabaa Tahir came up, and Elizabeth called her homegirl. And I was like, who's your homegirl who also writes books? Like, what does she write? So in this interview, I realized that she writes fantasy, and she has a new release that just came out called Air. But in further research, I realized that before you read Air, you should probably read An Ember of the Ashes, the quartet. Now, you don't have to. Upon my research, I realized you don't have to. They are two separate books, but they're in the same world, in the same universe, and some of the characters from here pop up here and there in that book. And something about me is I'm a completionist. I like the whole little, oh my gosh, I remember them from book 1. Oh my gosh, do you remember what happened in book 3? Now it's a full circle moment and it's happening in this completely different book, but that's in the same universe. Like I want to be able to experience those little gems. Like that's part of the joy of reading for me. I love series. I love a good thick series as well. Give me 4 books in a series. Let me get lost in this world, right? I picked this up specifically because I love the fact that the pictures come together on the spines when they're together. But also all 4 of these books together was like $27. You can't, 4 books for $27, you can't beat that. So the first book in this series is called An Ember in the Ashes. The second book in this series is called A Torch Against the Night. The third book is A Reaper at the Gates. Last book, A Sky Beyond the Storm. So $27 for 4 books. You cannot beat it. Okay, so I'm going to eventually start and read this series and figure out if I like it. And then if I fall in love with this world, which when I looked the series up on TikTok, so many people love this world. So I'm like, okay, if I too fall in love with this world, then I will purchase Air, which is, again, not necessarily a part of this series, but in the same universe. And then, then I would have found like a new favorite author in a genre that I never even knew I liked until at the end of last year, beginning of this year. So, okay, those are all the books in this book haul. Now we need to figure out how we are going to organize our new spinning shelf, or what books specifically are going to go on this shelf. You guys know I like to organize my shelves by genre. So it's like, am I going to make this a continuation of fantasy? Or, I don't know, because I do have some thrillers in another room that I kind of just want all my books to be in one room. So I could put, I don't know, maybe fantasy at the top and then those thrillers at the bottom, which is probably what I'm going to do. That way I don't have to mess up my fantasy shelf, because this fantasy shelf is actually like my favorite shelf aesthetically. So maybe I'll add like my new fantasies over here, or move some of the fantasies from over here to over there. Child, I don't know, but y'all can watch me figure it out, okay? Alright, so we have the shelf filled up. The top shelf, just the very top tier, are my fantasies that either have like more than one book in the series, but I only have the first book in the series, or more than one book in the series and the series isn't complete, so I don't own the entire series yet. Or I just added my Never After series on here. These are like dark romance fantasy series, but I haven't read them all. The only one I've actually read is Scarred, and I loved that one. And I keep saying that I want to continue reading this series, so I just put these here so that they would be in my face and at the top of my mind when I'm in the mood for a book such as that, which is not often. It's not often at all. So on this top shelf, I just have that series because I really need to like either read those books or unhaul them. And then the other books are like series that I need to get into. I haven't started them yet, right? And they're also not complete. So the other 3 tiers, let me move you down. Okay, now these 3 tiers are all of my thrillers that I had in my bedroom. So I didn't have enough room on my thriller shelf in here, which is kind of like a small shelf. So I didn't have enough room for all of my thrillers on that shelf. These other books just kind of lived in my bedroom on the shelves that I had in there. But now that I have this beautiful rotating bookshelf, I can have all of my thrillers on here. Eventually, I think I do want to move these fantasy books, like as I read them, over to my fantasy shelf and just have this be like my thriller tower. I think that would be so cool, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, because I do like just having all of my thrillers here and being able to rotate the shelves and see which books I've read versus the ones that I haven't. So these 2 tiers are filled, and then down here on this other tier, I only have like 4 paperbacks that wouldn't fit anywhere else, and then the tier at the very bottom is completely empty, which is, you know, fine, because it would be hard to see those books down there anyway. So I have room to grow as far as thrillers are concerned. So yes, that is how the shelf turned out. I'm so happy that I finally have books on this shelf now. I'm not even gonna lie, I can sit here and rotate this bookshelf all day long. It just feels like I'm in a bookstore, for the simple fact that the shelf rotates. It just feels like I'm in a bookstore trying to decide on what my next read should be. If you're interested in this shelf, I will leave my affiliate link down below in the description box. If you click that link to make a purchase, I will get a commission off of that purchase. And if you would like to get some money off, don't forget to use my discount code KVV. Again, all of that information will be in the description box down below. Thank you so much if you stayed until the end of today's video. I really do appreciate you guys watching until the very end. If you want to let me know, please leave this emoji. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.